Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Church in Charleston. I am Jessica Irvin, a member of the church's governing vestry board. Whether you are here with us in Gage Hall or joining us virtually, we are glad you have decided to spend a part of your day with us. Our church's mission is to be an inclusive community of inspiration, love, and service, committed to creating a better world. Our congregation does so much work toward that better world, both within the church and in our Charleston community. There are a lot of fun events coming up that you can find listed in the Gateway newsletter, and we want you to get involved, so if something interests you, you can just join in. Inside your order of service today, you will find information about our Welcome Back Church Breakfast, which will be next Sunday, September 3rd, from 10 to 12 o'clock. And we still need folks to help out with bringing food or helping with cleanup and setup. And you can find the sign-up link in the Gateway. And we will also be accepting donations for our annual pancake mix and syrup drive to fill the pantry at the James Island Outreach. So please help us with this food drive for the residents of James Island and Folly Beach. These items can be dropped off here at church on September 3rd and 10th. If you are visiting with us today, we invite you to fill out a blue visitor's card and drop it in the offering basket to learn more about our church. If you are with us virtually, you can learn more about our church, find our current newsletter with events, and fill out a digital visitor's card on our website, charlestonuu.org. We can't wait to meet you and welcome you into our church. And after the service, everyone is invited for a time of fellowship and coffee right here in Gage Hall. And finally, now is the perfect time to set your noise-making devices into worship mode as we begin today's service. Thank you and welcome to church.
What fun to have that dynamic duo back. Good morning. We will begin our service by igniting our chalice, and I would like to welcome up Danica and Harper Todd. to flip the switch on our chalice. If you are joining us virtually from home, we invite you to light a chalice or a candle of your own, and please join us in this sacred ritual. The chalice lighting reading today is by J. Abernathy, entitled, "Love is Our Greatest Purpose." As we light our chalice, may we remember, we affirm that love is our greatest purpose. Accepting one another is the truest form of faithful living. The search for truth is our constant star. We pledge our hearts, minds, and hands to challenge injustice with courage, to find hope in times of fear, and to live out our Unitarian Universalist values every day as a beloved community. Thus, do we covenant with each other and with all that is sacred in life. It is my honor and great pleasure to introduce our guest speaker today. Reverend Cecilia Armstrong is a cradle Presbyterian who held membership at Calvary, New Life, Bell Terrace Presbyterian churches in Detroit, Atlanta, and Augusta, respectively. She was educated at Spelman College, the University of Southern Mississippi, and Interdenominational Theological Center, where she attended Johnson C. Smith Theological Seminary. She was ordained as a deacon and then an elder before she accepted the call on her life into ministry. Pastor Cece served Grady Memorial Hospital as a chaplain and Beth Salem as a supply pastor. As an ordained minister of the Word and Sacraments, Reverend Armstrong served as solo pastor of Grace in Lantana, Florida, and she now is a very proud associate pastor of St. James Presbyterian Church on James Island in Charleston. I met Reverend Cece through some volunteer work with the International African American Museum and was struck by her energy, her personality, and her vitality. She is also a very strong supporter of CAJM and has worked with us on the CAJM projects. So I'm very, very proud and pleased to have Reverend Cece with us.
Good morning. So let us share in our opening words the responsive reading as you have it printed with you. In a world of categories and labels, we are seen and loved. In a time full of violence and division, we are seen and loved. In a place where we might feel confused or not quite good enough, we are seen and loved. And now, if you will be so kind as to sing with all of us our hymn, 1000, Morning Has Come.
is the time in the service when I invite the children forward for a story. And just a note, some of you may have noticed the youngest of us happen to be in the back there joyfully playing. This is due to some unforeseen circumstances in our childcare, but I know that we will live into our value of love. And we will welcome them with nothing but open hearts. Today, I'm going to tell a story about a little girl who was searching for a porpoise. And I know, Reverend Cece, the theme of our service is to live into our purpose, to find our purpose, but this little girl, she wanted a porpoise. So, there was once a girl named Amara, and all she wanted for her birthday was a porpoise of her very own. And you may know a porpoise is a sea mammal in the dolphin family. They're smaller and shyer than dolphins. She wished and hoped and dreamed of a porpoise. She asked her parents and her grandparents. She told all her friends at school that she was getting a porpoise for her birthday. But her birthday came and went, and she did not get a porpoise, and she was very disappointed, and she wanted answers. So she asked her parents, and they said, "Oh, Amara, we couldn't get you a porpoise. That's something you need to seek out for yourself." And she looked at her parents kind of funny and said, "No, I said a porpoise. You know that, like the sea mammal." And her parents looked at each other and said, "Oops, but you can't have a wild animal for your birthday anyway." So she asked her grandparents, and they said, "Oh, Amara, we can't get you a porpoise. You'll have to figure out your purpose when you're older. And sometimes even adults don't know their purpose." At this point, Amara was getting a little frustrated. "I said porpoise, porpoise, the sea mammal, like a small dolphin." And her grandparents said, "Oh, sorry, we misheard you, but we wouldn't have bought you a porpoise anyway. They belong in the wild, dear." Amara was fuming. Why had no one understood her when she asked for a porpoise? And now that she thought about it, why were the adults so unwilling to give her a purpose either? What was a purpose anyway? So Amara set out finding a purpose. Over the next several years, she asked a lot of adults that she knew and trusted, and some of the adults said, "I don't know. That's a really hard thing to explain." But some of the adults gave her really good advice. They said, "Pay attention to the things you care about and how you can use those to make a difference in the world. You may not have a clear idea about it yet, and your purpose will certainly change over time. But if you think about the things you value and how you can use those things for good, you'll be on the right track." So Amara thought about the things that she valued and cared about, things like animals and the habitats they live in. She thought about the things she liked to do, things like learning new things and teaching those things to younger children. She thought about her heroes, people who were living their lives in ways that she wanted to copy, and she thought about what was possible and what she could change the world, in ways that she could change the world when she's older. And eventually, after some time and some work, Amara came up with her purpose. And the funny thing is that Amara's purpose didn't stray too far from porpoises. She decided that her purpose was to be a caring advocate for the earth and teach others about conservation. And that is what she did. And now we can sing the children out. The little older ones are going to come with me. And then people who joined in, please come and find the seats that they left.
Let us turn now to our book of life and hear about the joys and sorrows among us today, as well as milestones that have been achieved. Charlie Everett is asking for thoughts and prayers for a longtime family friend, Eric, in Chicago, who has suffered a serious stroke. Charlie and his family are also handling the illness of their 19-year-old cat, Grace. Charlie, we hope for the best outcomes, and we are thinking of you all during this difficult time. And Ryan O'Quinn, who is here with us today, he is happy to announce that he has accepted his first full-time engineering job offer this week here in Charleston. He says that this is a significant milestone made possible by helpful family, community, and professionals. He would like to thank and to encourage everyone to stay helpful, motivated, and focused on building people up. Ryan, we wish you the best in your new job. And Ryan and Whitney's daughter, Lydia, turns 2 months tomorrow. So for all these joys and concerns that are spoken and unspoken, may we be reminded of our connection with these words by Susan Manker Seal. We speak to the God, the goddess, the spirit of life, the eternal. We speak to the mysterious thread that connects us one to the other and to the universe. We speak to the deep wisdom at the center of our beings. We embody the yearnings of all people. May we hold together in a moment of silence. May it be so, and amen. If you would please join us as you are willing and able to sing hymn number 2, Down the Ages We Have Trod, verses 1, 4, and 7.
4 through 7.
4 through 7. Words are in your order of service.
Down the ages we have trod, many paths in search of God, seeking ever to define the eternal and divine. There are eyes which best can see God within humanity, and God's countenance
Our reading today is by Parker Palmer, entitled, "Let Your Life Speak." A leader is someone with the power to project either shadow or light onto some part of the world and onto the lives of the people who dwell there. A leader shapes the ethos in which others must live, an ethos as light-filled as heaven or as shadowy as hell. A good leader is intensely aware of the interplay of inner shadow and light, lest the act of leadership do more harm than good.
Well, good morning. And I hope that you find comfort in talking back to me in the middle of all of this. It truthfully will provide me with the greatest comfort to know that I'm not just talking and no one's listening, but at least if someone hears me, they might be able to say, that's my way here to be with you. And the welcoming I have received in this place reminds me of what it's like to go home. And usually when folks go home, they take their shoes off. For me, I am also one who looks for, I guess the best thing to call it is sign. Yes, I'm right where I'm supposed to be. So this is exciting to be with you today. Today's conversation that we'll have really asks the question, where may I find purpose? And was that not the most perfect talk with man? I'm like, okay, well, should I just get up and say so be it and sit down? It's pretty good. One of the greatest pieces of advice I received as a teenager was in the form of a question. And the question was, how do you eat an elephant? Discovered that the advice was a way to help conquer those things that seemed big and overwhelming. I realized that I could only do a little at a time to accomplish huge tasks. My walk in this world is taking her upset, although she let me know when I was disappointing her. I don't recall hearing her spew venom to anyone. I've watched her cry, but it was always during some life-changing event like a birth or a death or a wedding or a promotion or whenever someone was being honored for accomplishments. I also witnessed her cry when she was moved in church by a sermon or a song. So it's my hope today to share with you a method to find purpose by using your life, leadership, and love. In your worshipful guides, your orders of service, where we read the opening words, no, maybe not, yes, there it is. There's a little graphic that was designed for you for note-taking, for those of you who do that. I'm a visual learner, and sometimes I have to just keep moving my hand to make my body remember. It seemed to help me narrow in my own search for the purpose based on actions. There are 4 intersecting circles you should see there of life that help to point to purpose. Each of those circles are phrases that direct our thoughts. One circle represents what the world needs. Another circle represents what you love to do. A third circle represents what you are great at doing. And finally, one circle represents what they pay you to do. I mean, that's kind of basically how we make it from day to day. Since this is a Venn diagram, the places where the circles overlap have representations also. And this is true of our life's work and in our pursuit of purpose, and it will be helpful for us to discover. So first, let's consider what people are paid to do, because that's the part we're most familiar with. A job is a gift to society and usually comes with a salary. Isn't that a good thing? Where you work and what you do is a valuable piece of society. Ryan, I'm so excited for you and your new job. Make money, man. Right? Bankers and teachers and lawyers and counselors and doctors and emergency responders and politicians and religious leaders and florists are a few that come to mind. Help me out. What do you all do? What pays you? That's good. Social Security takes care of you. So living long enough, right, to have done something and still get paid. That makes sense to me. Public history, good. Nurses. What, y'all, you got to talk to me? Okay, good. Teacher, yeah. These are all the jobs that you can do where you'll receive pay. Somebody's gonna pay you. Now, it's never enough. Now, that's a whole nother story. We could talk about that on another day. But there are jobs that are trades, like plumber and electrician and carpenter or even a locksmith. There are jobs that are professions, right? Like scientist and dentist and an architect or even a cosmetologist. I believe my cosmetologist earns everything she gets when she works with this. Just saying. There are jobs that are vital and sometimes we take for granted, like the grocery clerk or painter or custodial worker, a farm laborer, or even a fruit picker. These are all things that can be done for pay. And secondly, now, we'll consider the things that people are great at doing. Now, there's some things everybody can do, but there are other folks who are great at it. I mean, I could tell you all about single ladies, but I am no Beyonce, okay? I recently read a poem that helped me see that there are levels of greatness. And the poem mentions the worth of objects depending on the hands that hold it. And I don't know how long ago this particular poem was written, but part of it says a basketball in my hands is worth $19, and a basketball in Michael Jordan's hands is worth about $33 million. I'm afraid to ask what it might be worth in Stephen Curry's hands. I think we can assess our own skills and be honest with ourselves when noting these things at which we are great. The third point is to consider what people love to do. What are those things that we love to do? What gives us the greatest joy and causes our heart to sing? What gives us a reason to smile? What makes us happy inside and out? One of the things that I find to be the most endearing piece and part of existing is encountering children who I see as blank canvases waiting for a masterpiece to be painted. And who are we but those who are to put strokes of love on their life, that their life has meaning? If we can do more of those things, maybe, just maybe, the world would be a happier place. Especially when there seems to be so much unhappiness spreading around. And then the circle that considers what the world needs. We may be led to speak about justice and peace and even earth care. When I was in 5th grade, I recall a song that seemed to tell me what the world needed. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. And That's the only thing, that there's just too little of what the world needs now is love, sweet love. No, not just for some, but for everyone. I want you all to know that the love I felt when I came in this room gave me the courage to do that. That's what the world needs. Places where folks feel good being who they are. I would not have normally sung that out loud. I am just gonna sit here and marvel in that, that y'all made me do that. This is truly a beloved community. Wow, my whole heart is full. In the spaces where these circles overlap on this Venn diagram are representations of living and of life itself. And these are the concerns we may have for ourselves as we move from day to day. Leadership is represented in those overlapping sections. Leadership helps us to see what we are paid to do and what we are great at doing. That's called profession. Leadership helps us to see where what we are great at doing, and what we love to do is called passion. Leadership helps us to see what we love to do and what the world needs, and we call that section mission. And leadership helps us to see what the world needs and what we are paid to do, and that's the part that's called vocation. Parker J. Palmer tells us that the right leader will help us view these very special places in our own individual walks of life. A leader is someone with the power to project either shadow or light onto some part of the world and onto the lives of the people who dwell there. This is why people tend to follow leaders like Bishop Desmond Tutu or the Dalai Lama or the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. or the Reverend Rebecca Hines. This is why some subscribe to a power that's greater than you and I. This is why we spend time listening and learning and seeking and searching. Now, to be versed on the crowd I would encounter today, I read the following about your living tradition of wisdom and spirituality, drawn from sources as diverse as science and poetry and scripture and personal experience. The sources I encountered made all of us leaders in this world. All of us are responsible for training our replacements. Yeah, all of us are responsible for training our replacements. We can show folks a light-filled heaven or a shadowy hell. As leaders, we have our own experiences that move us to renewal of spirit. We engage prophetic people who challenge us to confront powers and structures of evil with justice and compassion. And as leaders who are still seeking personal purpose, we journey with others, gleaning wisdom, absorbing teachings, and collecting meaningful methods that instruct us for living. And so what I hope you have discovered in our public display of life is that the center of this thing, with clarity from leadership to help us see our profession or our passion or our vocation and our mission, that when we figure out where all four of those collide and run over each other and beat each other up right in the middle, all of that is purpose if it is engulfed in love. From 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verses 1 through 13, it's called the love chapter from the New Testament of the Holy Bible. We hear it at weddings all the time and at new beginnings all the time. And what would it look like for each day to be a brand new beginning for each of us as we prepare to train our replacements? So today I challenge you to hear it in finding purpose. If I speak in the tongues of men and women or of angels, but do not have love, then I am only a resounding gong or a clanging cymbal. If I have the gift of prophecy and can fathom all mysteries and all knowledge, woo, and if I have a faith that can move mountains, but do not have love, I am nothing. If I give all I possess to the poor and give over my body to hardship that I might boast, but do not have love, I gain nothing. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails. I get why my mama used to say love always. It makes sense. She would smile in the worst condition and still feel good about her presence there. I, on the other hand, did some other things that I'm later learning that I probably could do better. What I've learned is that where there are prophecies, they will cease. Where there are tongues, they will be stilled. Where there is knowledge, it will pass away. For we know in part, and we prophesy in part. But when completeness comes, what is in part disappears. When I was a child, I talked like a child, and I thought like a child. I even reasoned like a child. When I became an adult, I put the ways of childhood behind me. For now we see only a reflection as in a mirror. Then we shall see face to face. Now I know in part, then I shall know fully, even as I am fully known. And now these three remain: faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of these is love. So it's my hope for you today that when you set your mind on finding your purpose, that you let every detail of your lives, your words, your actions, whatever it is, let it be done in the name of love, giving thanks every step of the way. I want to encourage you at some point in time to actually look this image up online. It is, and I can't tell you how to find it, but if you type in purpose, passion, mission, vocation, it should come up. And you'll begin to see how we navigate in the midst of that and call it life. I would want that for you, to use it to your advantage in the manner in which you find what you need as you pursue finding purpose. May it be so. Amen. And that helps us to gather together, right? So if you will sing with us hymn 349, We Gather Together. I am.
Our mission as a congregation is to be an inclusive community of inspiration, love, and service committed to creating a better world. In order to advance this mission in the world, we need your help. As a congregation, we are entirely self-governed and financially supported by the voluntary generosity of you, our members and our friends. So to this end, there will now be an offering to support and to sustain our mission and work as a congregation. For those of you here in Gage Hall, the ushers will circulate, and that's the sound of all the money going into the baskets. So reach deep into your pockets. There's also a QR code in your order of service if you would like to scan that, and you can donate online. For those of you who are joining us virtually, you can easily donate through the Breeze app on our church website, or snail mail with a check to the church office here. And as always, we thank you for your generosity. May it be freely given and gratefully received. Thank you. could invite Danica back up to extinguish our chalice, and if you would read together in your order of service as we extinguish the chalice. We extinguish this chalice flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
So I send you with words from Edgar A. Guest that just tells us this. There are thousands that tell you that it cannot be done, and there are thousands who will prophesy failure. There are thousands that will point out to you one by one all the dangers that wait to assail you. But just buckle right in with a bit of a grin, without any doubting or quit it. Just start to sing as you tackle all the things that couldn't be done, and you'll do it. Go in peace.